Hi guys, thanks for joining me to grade your plate. I'm excited to do this for you on YouTube Live, and I think we should just get into it. So here's the first slide. I'm going to blow it up for you. And it looks like the top has raspberries, some kind of pita chip, and the bottom section has a combination of vegetables and sliced salami as the protein. And I'm not sure what this white circular food is, maybe some type of cheese, like some thinly sliced cheese. Um, the average net carbs in the pita chip or the whole grain or whatever this section is about 14 net carbs in about an ounce. So this is probably about an ounce. And that's a whole lot, even though it's just a quarter of the plate. You have to know what you fill in the quarter of the plate with and what's in the subsequent sections to decide if it's worth it or not. So overall, I do approve of this plate because it has a quarter of the plate with just your carb, and then you have a protein, and the rest is fruit and vegetables. So this is perfect. This is what I teach my patients in general. Whatever plate you have, you should try to section the plate off into fours. So although this is three, you can imagine there's a line down here, and only 1/4 is the processed carb, and then two more sections should be either all fruit or all vegetables or a combination of fruit and vegetables. So here's my combo here, and then protein. Some people may say that this plate needs a little more protein, and maybe, but it's not a terrible plate. So good job. All right, so the next plate here looks like at the top, there's some type of granola in the quarter of the plate. And then we have eggs at the top right, hard-boiled egg. And the bottom portion of the plate is all fruit. Looks like blueberries, strawberries, peaches cut into cubes. And just evaluating the plate here, so it looks like a quarter of the plate has the processed carb, which is technically the right place to put it. But again, how many carbs are in this granola? Granola has about 38 grams of net carbs for about 4 ounces. Maybe this is just about 2 ounces here. So let's just guess it's about 19 grams here, 19, 20. And then like raw peach, maybe one raw peach is cut up there, and that's another 13 grams of carbs. 1 cup of strawberries, that's not 1 cup, it's just a few pieces, but 1 cup would be 8 grams, so I think this would be negligible, the amount in the strawberries, as well as the blueberries. There's so little of that we may just say maybe 1 or 2 extra grams. So here, I would say although half the plate is all fruit, and a quarter is your processed carb, they were on the right track here. And you have your protein instead of meat, you have egg as your protein. That's beautiful, but you have to be mindful of the total carbs here. And people don't realize that fruit and vegetables also have carbs. And if we eat healthy and we're still not losing weight, it's most likely because we're going overboard even on the good carb. So not to say that you couldn't have this plate like this, but you just want to make sure that you're adding things up right. And I honestly tell you, if you don't count something or log something and you're just trying to freestyle this here, you won't be as successful as if you were more mindful of what in the numbers that you want for the day. So in another video, I'll talk a little bit about, the numbers you can aim for. But for this purpose, we're just going to evaluate the food portions and the food types. So although it looks overall okay, I do not approve of this plate. It has so many carbs that I just feel like it wasn't worth it. Now, it just depends on the other meals that you have for the day. You might have meals that are way less, and so it kind of balances out. So, um, next slide. All right, so the third plate here at the top, you have cheese cubes. You have this really dense carb here. It looks like banana bread, and then a vegetables. And then the bottom portion of the plate, you have orange slices and another piece of bread. So one thing I already noticed is that there's no protein in this plate. Um, it's higher in carb than what it looks like. So overall, it looks like, oh, it's so healthy. Um, but like one orange has about 20 grams of net carbs. One serving of banana bread has 34 grams, and it looks like there's another piece under there. Um, so that's like 68. And there's no protein. And this whole plate has about, roughly, and I don't expect you to know this off the top of your head. It's just because I do this all the time, but I would say roughly about 100 grams of carbs. So, I mean, most people who go to a nutritionist, they'll tell them not to have more than 100 to 120 grams of carbs per day. I give a little bit different suggestions, but even if you were to use that as your standard, this is just one meal. So you're using up your day's carb in this one plate, and there's hardly any food in it. It looks small, right? So this is where we have to be careful. Okay, next slide. All right, so just looking at this plate overall, um, there are four sections here that is like carbs. So you have processed carb chips here, processed carbs here, processed carbs here for the bagel. Um, Apples have about 20 grams of carbs, like in a medium-sized apple. So really, although this is, and that's counting net carbs, so the fiber is included in this number. So 20, half a bagel could easily be another, 20. So the majority of this plate is carbs with some cantaloupe or some other fruit there. It looks like cantaloupe, but this is actually a terrible plate. It was a good effort, but there's just you will not see a lot of change if this was like the way you went about your everyday plate. Um, So I think I'm going to stop here, guys. Hopefully this live stream went okay. I'm going to stop it short to make sure that I iron all the kinks in this live stream. I know the camera's right here. So thank you so much for joining me.